Good afternoon, my dear students. I am D.A. Patil, Assistant Lecturer of English Department at Basveshwara College English School. Today, I am going to introduce you the syllabus of your English textbook, which is reserved from the grammar portion. Yes, my dear students, I request you to welcome to the online classes. At the beginning, I am going to introduce the grammar portion which is reserved for you people one by one. Look at the board, my dear students. Dear students, for your syllabus, there is a passage for 10 marks. And that passage is totally unknown, unseen. I mean, in your examination, in your annual examination of your first PUC, you will face an unknown passage for 10 marks in your question paper. And in the next part and in the next stage, you will face articles for 2 marks. The next grammar concept is articles for 2 marks. And the third grammar concept for your syllabus, prepositions. And that is also reserved for 2 marks. And the fourth concept of your grammar portion, that is verbs. Verbs means the active voices. They are in the common manner, they are in the easy method. So, and these verbs are for 4 marks. This is what the fourth concept of your grammar portion. And the fifth concept of your grammar portion is subject-verb agreement. And this concept carries out 3 marks for your annual examination. And the next concept of your grammar portion is correction of sentences. Yes, this concept does carry out 2 marks for your annual examination. And see the next concept, nouns, and the next concept, changing the verb formation into the noun formation, and the next concept, jumbled segments, and the next concept, question tag, and the next concept is changing the sentence into a question, and the next concept, framing question. My dear students, from this to this, from this to this, I mean the 6 concepts carry out the 6 marks. Each concept carries out single mark. From noun to framing questions. These concepts in grammar portion, these concepts carry out 6 marks. Okay? Listen, I have mentioned on the board. Okay? And see the next concept, referring and answering. Referring and answering. This is what? This concept carries out 4 marks in your grammar portion. And see the next concept of your grammar portion is letter writing, and this concept carries out 5 marks for your annual examination. And the next concept of your grammar portion is match the following. Yes, in match the following, yes, there are 2 sections. There are 2 rows. I mean, in match the following concept, there are 2 lines. One is A section and another one is B section. One is a language function and another one is, yes, one is a language function and another one is the statements. Okay, see, the next concept of your grammar portion is completing the dialogue. And the concept of completing the dialogue, it does carry out 4 marks. And the last concept of your grammar portion is writing the dialogue. It does carry out 3 marks. My dear students, there is a small difference between the completing the dialogue and the writing the dialogue. That means here there are some blanks to fill up the dialogues for this concept, but this only the question paper asks you to write the dialogue deliveries between the two persons. That is what the difference between the complete the dialogue and the writing the dialogue. Yes, these concepts which I mentioned on the board, these concepts are covered for your grammar portion. Okay, see, and after the clarification of these concepts, I just would like to discuss about the first chapter for a few minutes. Okay, yes, the first chapter of your English textbook is The Gentleman of the Jungle, written by Jomo Kenyatta. The first chapter is The Gentleman of the Jungle. My dear students, before I am going to discuss about the chapter or about the story or about the lesson, I just would like to introduce the poet or the author or the writer in front of you. Before we are going to start, before we are going to see the lesson, we need to know about the writer. Yes, Jomo Kenyatta. He was an African political leader. Was he? He was an African political leader, and he was the first president of Kenya. And remember, my dear students, he was one of the best known African nationalist leaders. And see, he made many fights for his land and for his people and for his country. Yes? Do you understand? Once again, I am repeating all this information about Jomo Kenyatta. Jomo Kenyatta, he was an African political leader and he was the first president of Kenya. And remember, my dear students, he was the best known African nationalist leaders, and he made many struggles and fights for his country, for his land, for his people. Yes, see, he has given his ideas and his things through the story of the Gentleman of the Jungle. What kind of ideas, what kind of thoughts he has given through this story? Yes, dear students, he has given the concept of colonized people and colonial rulers. That means the Britain people and their administration over all the world. Yes, he gives that concept through this story, Gentleman of the Jungle. My dear students, the term jungle, it is Hindi word. It is derived from the Hindi, and instead of this word, there is a beautiful word in English language, that is forest. But forest, why did not Jomo Kenyatta use the term forest instead of jungle? Why did he use the word jungle? That means adivi. That is uncivilized culture, uncivilized people. He used to mention the term jungle, that is for uncivilized people. The Gentleman of the Jungle, that means here he is mocking. He is mocking the people of Britain. Yes, the Britain people. He is addressing the Britain people as the Gentleman of the Jungle. They are not the gentlemen of the city, or they are not the gentlemen of the nation. That is what? They are not the gentlemen of the place. Just they are the gentlemen of the jungle. Yes, can we see the gentleman in the jungle? No, impossible. Okay? Yes, through this story, he just gives the beautiful information of the attack of Britain people. Okay? See, my dear students, in the late 19th century, 19ನೇ ಶತಮಾನದ ಕೊನೆಯ ಭಾಗಕ್ಕೆ, in the late 19th century, the European powers whom we ever used to call English or Britain, what we say that? Britain, Dutch, Portuguese, and French. See here. Britain, Dutch, Portuguese and French. These all are the European powers. My dear students, these European powers, European Shakti Banagalu anta kariತಾರೆ. These European powers divided Africa among themselves. Africavanna ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ರು. Yes, before 1947 in our country, in our India, how the Britain people divided the India among themselves. Yes, even there are happened the Carnatic wars among the European powers in our country when the Britain people they were ruling our country. Yes, my dear students, remember the European powers. These are the European powers. They divided Africa among themselves. ಯುರೋಪಿನ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಬಣಗಳು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಆಫ್ರಿಕಾವನ್ನ ತಮಗೆ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರು. ಯಾಕೆ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರು? Why they did divide the Africa among themselves? Because the European powers ever thought that they are the supreme and all the people of other countries are the inferior. They are the superior and all the people of other countries are inferior. And they thought that they had the power to rule the world. The other country people had no power to rule their country. But only the Britain people, or in other words, what we can say that the European powers had the power to rule the total world. By that concept, they made many invasions all over the world. So wherever they made invasion, they conquered and they captured all countries and they started ruling all the countries under their rules, under their regulations. Here is also the European powers. They just attacked Africa and captured Africa, and they had stolen all the rights and the powers of African people among themselves, and they divided Africa among themselves because they thought that they are the superior and all are the inferior. And when they divided Africa among themselves, they made many rules and regulations for their administration. But these rules and regulations are very strange and very difficult for the people of that Africa. The African people did not understand the logic and the magic of all rules and regulations of European powers. And when the African people did not understand the rules and regulations which are made by the European powers, automatically the African people lost their political power. And if they want to ask about their political power and political position, the punishment will be given by the European powers. As a result, the African people lost their land, lost their political power, lost their plantation which they had been cultivating traditionally. So when all the political powers and when all the land is occupied by the European powers, the African people the African people, they started fight against the European powers. Got it? See, and these fights are mentioned, these fights are given through this lesson as symbolic by the great political leader and the great best known African nationalist leader, Jomo Kenyatta. Yes, in the next class, I shall discuss about the story of this first chapter. Okay? Yes, we shall stop here. Continue next class. Yes, we shall stop here. Continue next class. Thank you.